way back in the day, you went to college, and then you had to stop for a minute because you went into the military. But I noticed that as soon as you got out of the military, you went back to college to get your degree.
That is correct. As a matter of fact, I graduated from high school, from West Philadelphia High School, in January of 1942. I went into West Virginia State in September of 1942, and I completed 1 year. And in May of 1943, I was drafted into the United States Army, taken out of college. And I was gone for almost 3 years. And I served in the South Pacific in the invasion of Leyte in the Philippines, the invasion of Okinawa, which was a Japanese-held island. And we were set to go into Japan when the war ended. And when I came out of the service, I went back to West Virginia State and got my degree. And I graduated in 1948. I think it was the summer of 1948, August of 1948. And then I left and went to New York, and I went to graduate school at New York University. And I worked and went to school. And that's when, at the end of the 2 years, this teaching job opened up, and I came back to Philadelphia. By that time, I had married. And so my wife came back, and we set up housekeeping here in Philadelphia. It was my hometown anyway. And that's the story of how I got back.
Now, obviously, education was very, very important to you.
Yes, it was, and that's what I say to all these young people today. One of the most things you need to do is to get an education. Specialize in a certain field and stick with it. I stuck with it, and as a result, the real estate business prospered. I got a number of teaching assignments. I not only taught at Berean for 6 years, I taught at Villanova University from 1974 to 1981, and I taught real estate. And I also taught at Immaculata College in 1978. And then I became so busy, I went back to doing nothing but the real estate business. And we had a number of projects. We built houses. We did a big job for the Masons. They wanted to acquire land at 16th and Fitzwater Street to put up a high-rise. And I was assigned the task of accumulating all of these properties so that they could build there. Some of the properties were vacant. Some of them were run down. There was a nightclub there. And I was able to acquire all of the properties at 16th and Fitzwater so the Masons could build their building. And they put up something like a 7-story apartment building, which was fully rented before it was ever finished being constructed. This is one of the projects we had. And we also put up in Elkins Park, I acquired land for a builder there, and they put up 21 ranch and split-level homes. And that was a boom for our people, too, because new housing, ranchers and split levels were something they didn't know anything about. And we educated them into how to go about getting these properties, and we provided financing for them, and it became a very successful venture. And the one thing, one of the biggest projects and one of the saddest projects that I had was the move disaster down at Osage Avenue, 62nd and Osage, when they firebombed those houses. And I was selected by the Redevelopment Authority to do the appraisal work. And I had to value the entire sites. I had to talk to every owner. I had to appraise every building so that they would get a fair price. So I think our real estate firm was very successful in opening up situations for black people, because I got to know them, and we became friends.
I'm going to mention a couple of other names, and I want you to tell me what comes to your mind. My father-in-law was also a realtor, and he did quite a bit. He just recently passed away. I'm sure you remember him.
I knew him. He was with an organization, I can't call the name quite yet, but he was on the board of directors, and he was very active for all of his real estate life. And I admired him because he was the only black on that board. And he carried on, and he made us proud. Okay.
So his name, obviously, Willie Seward.
Yes.
What do you think about what comes to your mind when you think of him?
He was a go-getter. He was good for his time. Yes. And he was up in North Philadelphia, and that was no easy place to be.
Let me toss out another name, Cecil B. Moore.
I knew of him, but I didn't know him personally. My brother-in-law knew him because he was in the service with him. But I admired him. I think he did a lot of good for the people, particularly the school there, the Girard College. Yes.
Ben Bynum. Ben
Bynum and I were good friends. Ben Bynum bought a house for me in Yorktown. He had the Cadillac Club in North Philadelphia. And I got to know him very well because he bought a house for me, and we stayed friends for years. And he was only 1 month older than I was.
Oh, wow.
He passed about 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember his 2 sons. And they have made it very successful in the restaurant business.
Well, I would talk to Mr. Bynum all the time because I would MC a lot of the events at his son's establishments, Zanzibar Blue, Warm Daddies, and some of the other places. And I would get a chance to talk to Mr. Bynum all the time. And he would tell me all the stories of Philadelphia and what it was like back in the day. And he was also a Montford Point Marine. And he told me how difficult it was back then. So I can imagine how difficult it must have been for you back then when you were in the military.
Yes.
But you made it through and you were determined. What got you through the military?
What got me through?
Mm-hmm.
I just said a prayer because a lot of the soldiers were killed around me and I never got a scratch.
Wow.
I was able to come home. I jumped for about a month, but after that I was okay. The car backfired and I was sleeping. I hit the floor.
Yeah. I had a cousin that when he came back from the military, anytime there was fireworks, celebrations, he would just jump.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. It took me a month to get acclimated.
Are there any other people that you can think of right now? Clearly, your memory is very, very sharp. But are there any other people that you can think of that were very influential, that made an impact in your life, and that you may have associated yourself with?
Well, there was one gentleman named Isidore Martin. We called him the Dean of Real Estate. His father had a real estate office around 40th and Market Street. And when he passed, Isidore Martin took his place and took over the business. He was very helpful to me because he was about 10 years older than I was, but he would guide me and give me advice. I could always turn to him. And he passed, I guess he's been gone 20 years now. But that was one of the influences that kept me going. And matter of fact, he got me involved in the appraisal business. And matter of fact, I ended up as president of the Society of Real Estate Appraisers from 1977 to 1978, and was an all-white organization.
You've been listening to Tell the Story. But stay tuned, because there's so much more to come. That's coming up next.